too little in this community. I've been advocating alongside various Board of Education members over the years, and the word that's circulating now is year over year, we've been able to work miracles and pull rabbits out of our hats. Pull rabbits out of hats. And from what I'm hearing this year, when we went up to Albany on February 5th, we're out of rabbits. We're gonna have to start making cuts again to programs that we don't wanna do. And just because our kids go to school and come home with a smile on their face most of the days doesn't make it okay. My daughter's at the high school now in 9th grade. She's a solid student. She doesn't have to have much interaction just yet with the guidance counselor. We spoke to the guidance counselor about a month ago, and she didn't even know her name because the guidance counselor is dealing with so many children. These are actual realities. These are day-to-day functionalities. No corporation could operate this way. So where are we at? Here's the realities. 3 components to making school funding work. We have a governor, Governor Cuomo, there's an assembly, and there's a Senate. Governor sets his budget in late January. The governor wants to contribute about 25% of the total amount of money that the educational experts in Albany say is needed to properly maintain the programs from the previous year. Not go above and beyond, not provide money to schools like Ossining that could use maybe a 4th and 5th guidance counselor at AMD, just to maintain. And Governor Cuomo kicked in 25% of what those professionals said is needed. The Assembly is looking to kick in about 80% of that amount, which is pretty reasonable, right? You're never going to get everything you want, but they're looking to kick in about 80% of that money. They're looking to put us on a path to get our funding in 3 years with a 3-year phase-in. They're looking at a process that could possibly bring somewhere around $2 or $3 million increase in our funding going into next year if they had their way. But they also have to deal with the Senate, which is looking to contribute about $500 million less to foundation aid than the Assembly put in their one House bill, and is only about 50% of that amount that the educational experts in Albany proposed. So we're in bad shape. And look, admittedly, I've spent a lot of time banging on the Senate, because what they value in education, in my opinion, and I would agree, and most of yours public school parents standing in front of me, does not align with what public education needs. The Senate spends a lot of time advocating for charter schools. The Senate spends a lot of time advocating for educational income tax credits. And every time that happens, it pulls money out of our already stressed accounts for money that should be going to our kids. But this year I took an extra good look at it, and I'm seeing that Governor Cuomo, the buck stops with him. He's the governor. He's essentially the president of New York State. And he needs to start taking responsibility for getting schools like Ossining on their path to equity. And let's talk about equity for a moment. Derek, can I just put you on the spot for a moment? Would you mind in a big, strong voice talking right in this microphone and tell this crowd right here, define equity for me. Do you mind? Is that okay? Okay, go for it.
Equity is not getting the same thing, but having fairness in all situations.
Fairness in all situations. So let's talk about equity for a moment, because Governor Cuomo, about a week and a half ago, put out a big press release, and I'd like to think it's after he received about 2,000 letters from this community. He ordered the head of the Division of Budget, Robert Mujica, put out a long statement giving, I believe, communities like Ossining a little bit of a tongue lashing for speaking out of turn about equity and about where money should flow. They're spending their time talking about equity recently, trying to look very progressive in an election year, banging on the large school districts like New York City, some on Long Island, Binghamton, Rochester, telling those school districts, we don't feel you know how to run your school district. We want to have access to your school budgets, and we want to look at them, and we want to know where you're directing your dollars within your school district, as though Governor Cuomo has a real good feel about how money should be directed to school districts. Well, my message for Governor Cuomo today is this. There's a big school district called New York State, and Ossining's in that school district, and you're not delivering any equity to Ossining. We have extraordinary needs here. Our student population has had a 59% increase in extraordinary needs. Our poverty over the last 10 years has gone up 70%. We've had a decrease in combined wealth ratio. All of these things are a ticking time bomb. and yet we are the most underfunded school district in the state. Let me put that in perspective, because I've said it a bunch of times. I'm not a school official, so I don't have to be diplomatic and not call out other school districts. I'm a parent who pays a lot of property tax and a lot of income tax in the state, so I don't need to be diplomatic. There's a school district in Nassau County, the Long Beach School District. They have 1,500 fewer kids than Ossining over the last 10 years. Declining enrollment. They have double the combined wealth ratio, which is an exponent, and doubling hours is huge, huge. And they get $2,500 more per student than Ossining does. They have the combined wealth ratio of the village of Briarcliff Manor, if you want to put it in perspective. They get $2,500 more per student, and they're down 1,500 kids in the time period that we're up 1,100. Comac School District in Suffolk County, they've decreased 1,700 kids. In the same time period, we've gone up 1,100. And they're getting $1,400 more per kid. Do you want to know how much money per student Governor Cuomo's executive budget proposes for our 5,000 students? Guess how much it is. Guess. Go ahead.
1,000.
No, go down.
700.
700? No. Oop. 5. No, keep going down. Keep going. Okay, a lot of people here want to talk besides me. I'm going to cut to it. $31 per student. That's what Governor Cuomo wants to increase our foundation aid funding over last year. About $31. I believe our story would still be compelling if we were the 290th most underfunded school district out of 700, or maybe the 250th. We are the most underfunded school district in New York State. Our state electeds have not yet cracked the code to fix it, and from everything I'm seeing, Governor Cuomo is the linchpin in this. He needs to know that in this community of approximately, I think 17,000 registered voters. There's 11,000 Democrats in this community. There's 17,000 voters in this community, regardless of their affiliation, that I think would step into a voting booth and pull the lever for what is best for their school district. It's the gem of our community, and it's what matters the most. Who wants to speak now? I have nothing more to say right now. I'm a little heated.